Firstly first, Adam, how are you?
I'm extremely fine. Still a bit tired, but extremely fine.
It's very good to hear. So, before we jump into the album and the music you've been making lately, I'd like to go back to the beginning first.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first album you ever fell in love with?
I think the first one was Oracular Spectacular by MGMT. I think it was the first one that I kind of bought with my money, and I just kept listening to this album like over and over and over again for like I don't know like a month or something, and I was like so obsessed but with MGMT. Still am actually a little bit, not gonna lie. So yeah, that's probably Oracular Spectacular. Great album, great album.
What is it about them then? What was it about MGMT and still is kind of that
That I
struck your
like?
interest?
I don't know, like the first time I discovered MGMT was like with their video clip "Time to Pretend," and like in this video clip they're kind of they're wearing like weird clothes. They're like dancing around the fire, and like they're doing like some shitty stuff, and like I thought they were like so fucking cool. And plus, like I mean, I don't know, I really like their music. They like it seemed to me like they were on acids, so I was like, okay, I like them. Yeah.
At this point, I don't know how old you were exactly, but what role did music play for you at this point?
What?
What role did music play for you? Were you already singing? Were you already making music?
Not really, actually. It came pretty late, actually. I mean, I was in high school and I was really happy in high school. I didn't do a lot of music at that time because I was trying to focus on like getting my, passing my exams and stuff like that.
Because I read you studied economics. And,
Yeah, I mean, I studied economics at university, and because like I really wanted to understand what economy was because I didn't know anything about economy. Because like in high school I studied like science, and I come from like very kind of like all my family, they're all like teachers and shit. So it's like kind of there are a lot of like kind of books and like we're always talking about like stuff in books. So it's like I didn't know what economy was. So I thought like I'm gonna try to learn some economy, but like it was horrible. So I started like to doing some music like pretty seriously at that time.
when did you figure out that way wasn't for you and that you had to be more creative?
I guess the first time that I realized that it wasn't like I wasn't supposed to be there is when like I remember there was like this teacher in second year. She was like, okay, like everybody's gonna close their eyes and like you're gonna answer that question like by raising your hand if you agree, and like everybody like closed their eyes, and like the question was, who is here to to earn money, like to be rich, and like I was like, okay, that's a weird question, like who would raise their hand, like, and like I opened my eyes and like 90% of the fucking class like had their hand raised. So I was like, okay, this is not for me at all.
So I'm
I
not
gotta
amongst
fucking
my
go.
people.
Yeah, this is not my family at all. So yeah, and no, and then like I'm pretty lucky to be like surrounded by like so many creative and freaky people. So it's like so cool. It's like so inspiring, to be surrounded with these people. So it's like always creating some new stuff every day. So it's cool.
And you mentioned your parents were teachers, and then
Yeah,
more.
my mom. Yeah, my mom.
Because so what when you told them, so this I want to make music. This is, I'm
Yeah,
gonna go for music now.
yeah.
How did they react?
Well, I didn't. I mean, I and my mom was pretty like shocked, but like I'm like the weirdo of the family. So it's like I always I always was like this special kid. Like the kid that you like you don't gonna try to understand what he's thinking because like it's not gonna help. So my mom, I guess, like she was pretty surprised, but she was like, you finished high school, you tried university. I mean, it's not for you, so just do whatever the fuck you want. So yeah, she's pretty supportive. And like, I mean, she's really cool. Like, she doesn't give a shit about anything. So it's like the best thing ever.
That's good. That's good. So once you made that decision, did you immediately start writing?
Sorry, did I immediately start
Yeah,
writing?
did you immediately start writing?
Uh, Yeah, kind of. I mean, yes and no, because like I really wanted to surround myself with people that I really like, you know, like especially in the music industry. If you start to be like really clever and you start to be like really like marketing oriented, like you're fucked. Like basically, like just don't do it. If you try to be clever in this industry, like you're gonna lose. So I thought it was really important for me just to surround myself with human people like who don't give a shit about like fame or like money or anything. They just want to create things and like having fun, go on tour together, eat stupid food, and like sleep in like weird hotels. So that was basically like everything I wanted. So it took me quite a while to find these people,
But it's
and then I
quite,
started writing. Yeah.
yeah, because it's quite interesting that you say that because a lot of musicians I talk to, they don't realize how much effort and kind of you have to. It's not for everyone to be touring
Yeah.
all in
Oh
the
yeah,
world and
definitely.
like we mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
trying to figure out where to eat and then kind of get
Exactly.
at least some healthy stuff
Yeah.
into you. So once you had this all secure around you, did it affect kind of the music that came out?
I think so, and I think it's beautiful in a way. I think that's what I was looking for as well. You know, I wanted I wanted them to put like a part of their soul in the music as well because you know it's my name, it's my music, there are my lyrics, and there is I do the songwriting and the composition, but it's important for me to have them in the music as well. Like you know, sometimes I'm gonna listen to music and I'm gonna be like, oh, that's Chrissy, you know, like that's so Chrissy. This bass line is like so Chrissy, and like she came up with that, and like to me, like they are songwriting with me, so that's beautiful. So they are, yeah, they are the best, basically.
Do you remember the first song that you wrote that you were proud of?
That I was proud of.
Well,
Well,
we can go.
dude, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm proud of myself. Like I've never even thought about it. No, I guess, I don't know. Maybe like Shalalalove. It's in the album. I was pretty happy about that one because it was a different way of writing. It was more of a like storytelling kind of writing, and I always wanted to kind of write like this more and more, like because I used to write a lot about my personal emotions and like how I feel, and starting like every line with a I think and I did blah 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 blah. And at some point I realized that it was kind of boring, like for me, and I was like, okay, I gotta try to write in a different way now. So yeah, Shalala I would say I like that one.
And then that idea, because the album is pretty much, I suppose, can I call it an ode to love or a kind of
Oh
a,
yeah, sure.
because
I think.
when did you kind of realize that that was going to be the concept of kind of the songs you were writing?
Well,
That overarching.
but I came up with the name of the album like later. I mean, like because like the album was done, and I was like, what the fuck? How am I supposed to call this album? And I don't like giving names to things that are like that don't deserve names. That don't deserve names. I just wanted to put the album and be like, okay, this is the album, and like it doesn't have a name, and so, and like, but like very quickly when you try to understand the lyrics and like when you read the lyrics and like when you pay attention, I mean, it's always about love, you know, like it's like love about someone else, like for someone else, or like for yourself, or just for a person in the street, you know, like or a dinosaur. I don't know. So it's like, and I thought, you know, why not the Love album? It sounds pretty cheeky, you know. At first, I was like super afraid. I was like, oh, that's extremely cocky, you know, to call this like the first album the Love album. But I was like, you know, fuck that shit, you know. That's my opinion about love, and that's my Love album. So
And like you say, it's not just kind of the standard thing we think of when we say love, but it's all aspects of love.
exactly, yeah, yeah.
So which song to you was kind of the most difficult to kind of get right?
Um, I think Eternity was kind of a challenge because I remember one day I was kind of fed up with Paris. So I was like, okay, guys, let's take a car and let's go like in the countryside and like play some music and like do things and drink and smoke and play games. So this is what we did, and during that period, like we recorded Eternity, and I remember at the time. Uh, yeah, I mean, like a very close person, like was kind of dying, and I kind of wrote this this song talking about that situation, and it was like very kind of very personal, and I didn't know how to feel about it, and and it was kind of, yeah, it was something. Let's say this. It was something. So yeah, it's probably that one. It was a weird one. I don't even know if I was gonna put it on the album or not. At this point, I was like, do I need to put that song on the album or not? But you know.
Well, I was gonna ask because I can assume even though it, like you say, you try to write more of a narrative way instead of just about yourself. It can be very personal, so you
Yeah.
might have hesitations here and there. Um, so for this song, well, what pushed you over the edge then for this song? What made you think, well, no, this needs to be on there?
What?
What pushed you over the edge, so to say? What made you think, well, eternity, I must, that has to be on the album? I mean.
Because it was really important to me. Like, because that song is to me the song on the album that kind of shows like how much you can hate somebody and still love that person. It's like this very thin line between like love and hate that I found pretty kind of beautiful in a way, pretty romantic, maybe. And I don't know, I just felt like it. Yeah, I just wanted to hear it on the album, and it was my brother's favorite, and uh, and I just wanted to see like the name of the song on the album.
And I'm not sure if you perform this song, but when you play this song, do you go back to that initial emotion?
Maybe, maybe. I don't know because it's such a weird moment. Actually, it's such a weird experience. It's like you're entering like another dimension. It's like this strange feeling that I can't express with words. I know that it feels like this moment where when the plane starts to take off and like you don't know if it's gonna crash or not, but like you just go with that shit. And I feel like when I started singing the same thing, you know, like you're kind of afraid, but you're just like, oh, I'm here now, so let's just go with the flow and just like experience the moment and yeah, yeah.
Yeah. In terms of kind of the music that you make, where do you want to see your music going? Where do you want to, if that makes sense?
Yeah, no, sure, definitely. Well, it's really interesting because I've been kind of asking myself the same question, you know, like where I'm gonna go from there, from here, and I feel like Shalalalove is like the kind of the gateway of like a new way of like doing music and like experiencing music even on stage. It's like very kind of more rocky and it's like, and I really like this part of music, you know, when you kind of shout and like get fucking crazy on stage and like with your friends on stage. I mean, like, yeah, it's really cool. So I'm all about like glam rock at the moment, I have to admit.
So there's this raw element that goes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yes, exactly. Being like really like kind of drama, you know, be like, "Roar," and like going full theatrical and like, but you know, still like very sensitive, like, but and like true and sincere, but like, you know, dramatic.
Well, that's an interesting thought because I think you've said in previous interviews that for you the lyrics are very important, the way you word things, and
Yeah.
so to mix that with glam rock, it sounds like an interesting idea.
Well, I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah.
Finally, then,
Yeah.
I can assume you continue writing all the time. So what have you noticed about the songs, kind of in terms of themes and what you're writing about now? Because you've done love.
Yeah.
Is it still that love theme that occupies your mind? Or?
Well, when I wrote the Love album, I promised myself that I wasn't gonna write about love anymore. I mean, like not for a while. Um, and but it's weird because like you know whenever I start writing, like it comes back to that thing. But but it's not anymore like a very kind of romantic kind of love relationship, blah blah blah. It's not like, oh, like you left me and I'm hurt and I want to fucking kill you. It's like different. It's like, oh, I love being in a van, looking to my friends, talking to each other while listening to the Fat White Family, for instance. So it's like this weird thing where I'm trying to write some moments of my life that I cherish and that are really important to me. Like for instance, I've been listening to a lot of Chet Baker recently, and I've been writing a lot about Chet Baker. So it's like, you know, it's like I'm writing about things that I love now. It's not about how love fucked me up. So yeah,
It's kind of the positive side of love.
yeah,
maybe
exactly.
as well.
Yeah, the positive side of love.
All right,
That's
Adam.
it.
Thank you
Well,
very much
thank
for
you,
your
Robin.
time.
Thank you for having me, man.
No worries.